1. Antarctica. The frozen, yet surprisingly friendly frontier. You'd think that the southernmost point of the planet would be a freezing death trap. Right? Well, not so fast. Sure, it's cold enough to make your teeth chatter and your fingers feel like ice cubes. But it's not as dangerous as you might think. In fact, it's got more research stations than polar bears. The only thing at risk? Your dignity when you can't pronounce Antarctica without sounding like you're choking on your own tongue. You're safer here than in some cities on a Friday night. 2. North Korea. The ultimate don't-go destination that's surprisingly controlled. Imagine a country where the internet is about as common as a unicorn. North Korea is known for being a totalitarian regime with more "do not enter" signs than a VIP section at a club. But, contrary to what you might expect, it's actually more stable than you'd think. The government keeps things so tightly controlled that tourists are practically treated like a delicate piece of art. Sure, it's not the most inviting place to casually stroll through. But it's also not the Mad Max dystopia some believe it to be. 3. Chernobyl. The nuclear ruins that won't actually kill you. Probably. You probably think Chernobyl is just one big radioactive wasteland. Right? Well, not exactly. Sure, it was the site of one of the most catastrophic nuclear disasters in history. But if you're just visiting, you'll probably be fine. The radiation levels have dropped to surprisingly safe levels in most areas. Just don't go licking the walls. Okay? It's safer than eating at a questionable food truck. But only marginally. 4. Death Valley. The name's misleading, mostly. It sounds like something straight out of an action movie. But Death Valley is kind of like that wild friend you have who loves extreme sports and getting into trouble, but somehow manages to not die. Yeah, it's blistering hot, but thanks to its extreme conditions, people rarely venture too deep. The few who do make it out with mostly intact skin. It's like playing Russian roulette, but with a very low chance of losing. 5. Mount Everest. The not-so-deadly climb, as long as you're prepared. Climbing Mount Everest sounds like it should be a death wish. It's a treacherous mountain that attracts adrenaline junkies and professional climbers alike. But here's the thing. People get to the top every year. They just have to do a ton of prep work, mental training, and maybe a prayer or two. The dangers are real, but so are the precautions. It's like gambling, but with oxygen masks, and a lot of hypothermia gear. 6. The Bermuda Triangle. It's just a bad reputation. We've all heard about the Bermuda Triangle, mysterious disappearances, ghost ships, and alien abductions. But here's the thing. The Bermuda Triangle isn't some supernatural vortex. It's a large section of the ocean with some confusing weather patterns. Ships and planes get lost everywhere. The Bermuda Triangle just happens to be where it's super publicized. You're more likely to be caught in traffic than disappear into some cosmic void. 7. The Amazon Rainforest. Not quite the death trap you thought. The Amazon is like the world's most beautiful, dangerous theme park, full of jaguars, poisonous frogs, and relentless mosquitoes. But here's the shocker. Unless you're actively trying to get killed by some of its wildlife, it's relatively safe. There are tourist-friendly areas with guides who know how to avoid the creepy crawlies. So, it's like any other outdoor adventure, as long as you don't treat it like Survivor, Amazon Edition. You'll be fine. 8. The Sahara Desert. It's hot, but not a death sentence. The Sahara sounds like the absolute worst place to get lost in. Right? Well, the truth is, it's not as deadly as its reputation. Sure, it's scorching and vast, but the desert isn't as unforgiving as people think. With enough water, a GPS, and a sense of direction, you might just survive. Think of it as a massive sauna. You just have to know how to handle the heat. 9. The Himalayas. The high altitudes aren't that dangerous if you're prepared. The Himalayas look like the kind of place where nature sends you to die for even thinking of climbing them. But guess what? Every year, thousands of people trek through these towering peaks without any issues. The trick? Preparation. You need gear, you need mental toughness, and you need to know how to breathe at 10,000 feet. It's not a walk in the park, but it's not a guaranteed ticket to an early grave either. 10. The volcanoes of Hawaii. Erupting lava. But not a sure fire killer. You know those dramatic volcano eruption videos? The ones where lava flows like a fiery river of doom. That's terrifying, right? Well, while it's still dangerous to get too close to an active volcano, the truth is they don't really erupt every day. Hawaii's volcanoes are studied constantly, and tourist spots are set up with enough space to avoid getting lava bombed. It's not a perfect system, but you're more likely to get sunburned on the beach than meet molten rock. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.